morning. Happy after the Halloween day. After, I don't know what you want to say. Happy day after Halloween. I need coffee. I am so discombobulated today. It's weird. I don't know what's going on with me. Mm-mm-mm. So I started out my morning today with coffee and frosted flakes. Yum. All right. Thank you all that participated in the Halloween event. Jen and I had a blast. And she is like one of my bestest friends. And it's so much fun when you can do this with your best friend. And despite little Jude's insistence on coming between us, he hasn't. I joke with her all the time because we didn't do this last year. We do it every year, but we didn't do it last year because she was giving birth to Jude. But in any case, we have reconnected and all is well. And we gave away the grand prize last night. We gave one away on Friday night, and we gave another one away last night. And I hope the winner has watched the video and gets in touch with me and lets me know. I'll email her, but I did get a backup winner. Okay, so I also gave away the pumpkin hat I put everybody that's a member or Patreon on the wheel, and I drew a name. And Sherry, you were the winner. Sherry from Colorado, you're the winner. Contact me with your information, your address and stuff. I might have it. I think I've sent you something before, or you sent me something. I don't know. Anyway, but you won the hat. And I'm so cool that she lives in Colorado, so she'll get some use out of this. Because let me tell you, it's colder than bejesus outside. Ooh. Okay. And you're like, how cold is bejesus? So I learned something new last night. Don't kit up your diamond painting in bed, or else you will be sleeping on a bunch of drills. I kitted up this painting that I'm going to start probably tomorrow, or tonight in the live tonight. We're going to kick off the event tonight. It's not an event; it's a paint along. My friend Joanna and I are going to paint this painting together. Well, she's got one, I've got one, and this is a Yumi Arts painting. Very gorgeous. Lots of blues. I kitted up lots and lots of blues and pale purples and lilacs and pinks. Oh, so cute. So I had a very nice Halloween. They had the church across the street had for the first time a trunk or treat event. So all the kids were out and we gave away tons of candy, and my sister had a blast just handing out the candy. And I was, in my live with you guys. So got one of my mini hats. My sister put a hat on last night. I didn't even recognize. I made it. I didn't even recognize it. But that's how many hats. I love to make hats. That's like one of my things. Is if you have an unusual crochet hat pattern, send it to me. If I haven't already made it, I'll make it because I just love to make hats. So I'm finishing up these two Halloween paintings. I have like a smidge left on both of them. But anyway, you're here for the Crafting and Crime show. Yes, this is the show where I recap live trials that are going on YouTube. So the two that I'm covering are the Kowalski versus John Hopkins case. That's a civil case. It has been going on for 4 weeks. 4 weeks, folks. What? Yes. The defense is putting on their case, and they are putting everybody that ever took care of Maya at John Hopkins on the stand. That's what it seems like. And they're all saying how much fun she had. She was watching movies and she was getting her favorite foods and playing games. And it was like being at Disney World. So I've been a little remiss at recapping that particular trial. Um, Maya and her family are accusing John Hopkins of the wrongful death of her mother, Beata Kowalski, who took her life over the fact that John Hopkins called DCF. Someone at John Hopkins called the Department of Children and Families said that they suspected that Beata Kowalski was abusing her child in the form of Munchausen's by proxy. That's where you, in order to get attention on yourself, you make your child sick. And they, or conversion disorder on the part of the child. They suspected one or the other. So they opened a court case, took the judge had her sheltered by DCF, but the sheltered in the hospital. So even though she could have gone home at any time, the judge ordered her to stay sheltered in the hospital and no contact with her parents through Thanksgiving, through Christmas, and in January when they finally had a hearing where Beata said, "Can I hug my daughter?" And the judge said no. It was that night that she took her life. So they're asking for $220 million from this hospital for false imprisonment, intentional infliction of emotional distress, wrongful death, a whole bunch of stuff. And yeah, hopefully that will get to the jury soon because I'm over it. Anyway, and I bet the jury is too. Good Lord. The other case that I'm covering is the case of the state of Florida versus Charles Adelson for the conspiracy to commit the murder of his brother-in-law, Dan Markel, former brother-in-law. His sister Wendy was married to the FSU law professor Dan Markel. And we've already sat through 2 trials, the trial of the hitman that he hired allegedly, and the trial of his ex-girlfriend, Catherine Magbanua, who he hired to hire the hitman. The hitman, one of the guy that pulled the trigger, was Catherine Magbanua's baby's daddy, common law husband, who she wasn't with at the time. She was with Charles Adelson. You're like, what? I know, it's crazy. So, following this murder in 2014 of Dan Markel, July of 2014, it took the police 2 years before arrests were made. The arrests weren't made more than 2 years, but it took them 2 years to unravel this crime with phone records and toll records and video surveillance footage. There was so much that they had to comb through. It was crazy. So they finally narrow it down to the Adelson family. You know, the mom, Wendy, the mom is Donna, Wendy, Charlie. I don't know how much the dad played into any of this. I don't know. I don't know if I've never even seen the man. So they narrow it down to them, Catherine, the hitman. They know who all the players are, but now they need evidence so they can arrest them. So they get the judge to order a wiretap. He gives them permission to tap the phones of all these people, and they start to see a pattern in the phone calls. Donna will call Charlie. Charlie will call Catherine. Catherine will call Sigfredo, who will call Lewis. So, yeah. And I'm trying to diamond paint at the same time. I can't talk and do 2 things at the same time, but I'm going to try because I need to get this done. So because it had been 2 years since the crime, they weren't talking about it. These people thought they had gotten away with the crime. They're not talking about it. So they've got to get them talking again. They have to increase the chatter on these wiretaps. So they create this undercover operation called The Bump, where Donald Adelson is going to bump into a man on the street. Now, I'm going to show you the video of the bump. It's short. What you're going to see is a split screen of this video. On the right side of the screen, I would focus on the right side of the screen because the left side of the screen is the one that approaches Donna Adelson, the mom. That it's his body cam, and you can't really see anything. And then and I don't think he had it like on, because he's supposed to be undercover. So it was somewhere on his body. So you're getting like a street view. So I don't know why they even had that. But anyway, the other camera is someone across the street filming it, but you can see what's going on and you can hear. Maybe that's why they had the body cam footage, so you could hear what she was saying. And so he approaches her and startles her. He's like, Mrs. Adelson, and she's like, oh, who are you? So I want you to watch this, and then I can explain a few things.
Mine, and I said, of course I'm mine, don't bring it. I told her, I said, yeah, bring it. She texted me the other day, and I said, yeah, bring him, the more the merrier.
Why not? It's fun.
Yeah, I don't care.
Listen, I wouldn't care if you take the kids and her and Dave out on the boat for an hour.
Oh, yeah.
And like a pool, just to have, a nice
we do. But, yeah, no, I told her, of course, bring him. I mean, I'm sure you'd rather her go spend the day with him than you anyway. It's the best Mother's Day present you could have given me. Could have spent the day with him.
You know what? I'm happy. As you know, I'm super happy.
Yeah.
That's just fine.
Oh, yeah. No, I thought that would be your best Mother's Day present this year when he wants to bring Dave.
Yeah.
She's developing a brain.
She's developing a brain, that's right. And you know what? I have to walk away so Thanksgiving. Ben says he's a friend to Ben. But he's not. And but both boys are not very good at hugging and kissing, and it always makes one feel bad. That's kind of their boys. They're just not the way girls are. Girls are more kissy. So he said to her, Ben, I said, people who love you hug and kiss. I said, that's what Grandma and Grandpa always wanted, to hug and kiss. And he said, well, I always did that with my mommy and daddy, and I did that with my children, and I do that with my grandchildren. So he said, yeah, it's like Dave and Mommy. They're hugging and kissing all the time because they love each other. I said, yeah, I guess so. So, you can never hide anything in front of the person. Once they have a mouth, they open it up and they tell you everything.
Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, listen, Wendy just doesn't comprehend at all how lucky she is.
So she doesn't.
It doesn't register in her head how lucky she is at all. At all. But not even nothing. It's just, which is great. But at least she doesn't see herself as a victim anymore, which is great too.
I'm just happy to hear that she's spending more and more time with him. That's great.
Yeah, no, so she's
And the funny thing was,
All right, let's move on to the bump. Was the bump on April 19th, 2016?
Correct.
What time of day was the bump?
I believe it was around 1:45, 1:50, somewhere around there.
Okay, in the afternoon?
In the afternoon, yes.
Were you involved in that operation?
Yes, I was.
What was your role?
I was the lead agent, came up with brought the undercover down there, and I coordinated everything.
Okay. What was the purpose of the bump?
The purpose was we had just began the Title III on the individuals, and we knew it had been 2 years after the homicide, and we wanted to purport the undercover agent to pretend to be somebody that Luis Rivera knew. Luis Rivera was currently in prison at the time, had been in jail, was in prison, and we wanted to make it seem that Luis Rivera was talking to people and telling people what he had done, and possibly even want more money out of it because his family was struggling because he was in prison.
Why did you select Donna Adelson to be the recipient of this bump?
Because we noticed the pattern of calls leading up to the murder and around the time of the murder. The calls were always Donna Adelson to Charlie Adelson to Catherine Magbanwa to Sigfredo Garcia, and then back. It was always going back and forth pretty much in that order. So we wanted to start it on one end and see what would happen, see if it would travel that same line of people.
All right, Judge, at this time I'd like to publish States 105, the bump video.
You may proceed.
Yes, please.
Black shorts. What is it?
Pause it for just a moment. All right, so on the left side of the screen, we've got two different things going on here. Can you explain what we're looking at?
Yes, on the left side is a body recorder that the undercover agent was wearing, and it has video and audio on it. So what you're hearing is audio coming from the undercover agent and his video. On the right side is a separate video taken from surveillance agents that were in the area watching.
All right, so the woman we're seeing on the stairs here, is that Donna Adelson?
It is, and she's exiting the Icon, which is on South Beach, her condominium. That's the stairs coming from her condominium toward the street.
All right, please proceed.
Okay, bye. Excuse me, Mrs. Adelson? How you doing? Just want to give you this. Listen. You scared? No, don't be scared. Listen, just want to let you know that we know that your family has been taking care of Katie and her friend Luto for quite some time after your problem up north has been resolved. And I want to let you know that my brother, he's incarcerated. He helped your family with this problem you guys had up north. And we want to make sure that he's going through some rough times, and we want to make sure that you take care of what he's going through, the way you're taking care of Katie and Tuzo. Well, this will explain it. Thank you.
Where does Mrs. Adelson go after the conclusion of the bump?
She goes into the elementary school there, to the door to the right, goes inside and retrieves the children, and then goes back to the Icon back across the street.
And are those...
What'd you think? Interesting, huh? I don't think she seemed that surprised. Like, what are you talking about? What? What? Who? What? Okay. So he handed her a piece of paper, and on it was a news article about the Adelson murder, Dan Markel's murder. And he says, I know you've been taking care of Katie, because they hired her. She's given her a paycheck, and the boob job and all the other things. So, but my man Louis Rivera, who's at the end of the chain, he was already in jail for the federal court charge of racketeering, already in jail for that. So he wasn't going anywhere. So they used him. And they said, oh, you need to take care of his family is suffering because he's in jail, and you need to take care of him too. Same way you're taking care of Katie. So when this encounter is over, you see her walk across the street. She had entered from where her condo was. So she comes out of her condo, she goes down these steps, she runs into the undercover agent. After that, she crosses the street and she goes over to the school where the boys are going to school. After the murder, Wendy left 2 days after the murder, left Tallahassee with her two boys, goes down to South Florida, moves in with mom and dad on South Beach in this condo. And the school is right across the street. So she goes and picks up the boys, comes back home, and then around 2 o'clock, she starts making phone calls to Charlie Adelson, her son. And in the first phone call, she tells him, I want to meet with you. I have some paperwork that I just got, and I really want to run this by you. But I don't want to talk about it on the phone. When can we meet? And he's like, I'm going to be here tonight till like 10 o'clock. And who is he working on till 10 o'clock at night? Have you ever been to the dentist where you were there till 10 o'clock at night? I don't know. I just thought that was weird. Okay. It doesn't mean anything. I just thought it was weird. So he says, but I can take tomorrow off, and I'll come over and we can talk. So, but what is this about, Mom? And he's trying to guess. What is it about? And she won't tell him. So he says, okay, I'll be over there tomorrow. And then he hangs up. This is like 10 after 2 when the phone call took place. They talked for about 5 minutes. 20 minutes later, he calls her back and he's like, Mom, he's still trying to guess what this is about. And he says, she's like, I really can't talk about it, this. And he's like, well, who's this letter from? Is it the military? Is it the IRS? She's like, no, 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 no. And he's like, you got this in the mail? She's like, no, it was hand delivered. Hand delivered? She's like, yeah, I ran into this guy on the street and he handed it to me. It involves your ex-girlfriend. Now, between the murder and this phone call, he's had 3 ex-girlfriends, Katie and 2 others, 3 ex-girlfriends. So, and she never says the word Katie, even though that's what the agent said to her, Katie. So she says, it involves your ex-girlfriend. She says, if you're coming over tomorrow, let's go out for dinner, but bring cash. He's like, well, I don't have that much cash, Mom. So they hang up. Oh, he did ask her, are you being blackmailed? And she goes, maybe. So they hang up. He's like, I got to get back in there. And 3 o'clock, he calls her back. And he's saying, Mom, what, can you give me any more information? Can you send me a photo of this paperwork that you got? And she's like, oh no, I'm not comfortable doing that. Just come over when you're off work tomorrow. He says, but she says, this TV is gonna cost your friend about 5. He's like, 5,000, Mom? Yeah. Again, using the TV as a reference. Remember, they had that horrible joke that he made about the TV. I bought you a TV because it was cheaper than hiring a hitman. That's what he told his sister. So he says, okay, I'll be there. I'm off tomorrow. I'll be there early afternoon. So she says, okay. She says, come. The best time would be to come after 1 because your father won't be there. He'll be off to the gym or something like that. Anyway. Now the jury is listening to all of this. All these phone calls, they're recorded. The jury's listening to them. But they're kind of hard to hear. So they gave Charles and all the jury people these headphones because it's easier to hear what's being said with a headphone. And so they had to play a little clip, and then the jury had to say, they had raise your hand if you're having any problems with the headphones. No. Then they played it for the jury. It's interesting. So they all got to hear all these phone calls. So the next phone call that Charlie makes is down the line to Katie, Catherine Magbanoa. And he tells her, hey, something weird is happening with my mom. And she said, he says, I think she's being blackmailed. And he kind of tells her what it is he knows. And she said, it involves, my ex-girlfriend. I just kind of assumed it was you. And he goes, I'm going to be really embarrassed if it's not you. And she's like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry. He says, well, can we get together and talk about it? She's like, of course. So she's so nice to him. Of course we can get together. So they get together at the Dolce Vita the next day. Or maybe it was that night. No, I think it was the next day after work. He says he's going to pick her up after work and they're going to go to this restaurant. They go to Dolce Vita, which is a sandwich restaurant right near where she works. And there's a video of it. And they've used an expert to take that video and narrow it down so that you filter out all the background noise that's going on in this crowded restaurant on South Beach so that you can hear what they're saying. Now, there will be a transcript. When I listened to this tape, this 40-minute tape in the second trial against Catherine, there was no transcript and I could not make heads or tails because they're talking in code. I had no idea what they were talking about, none. So I'm anxious to hear it. I want to sit down when I'm not distracted. Yesterday I was very distracted by Halloween, but I want to sit down and listen to it so I can parse it out to you tomorrow and tell you what that phone call is all about. Interesting though. And it was it wasn't until 2022, right before Catherine's trial, because that's when they hired that expert to filter out all that noise, that they were able to hear what was being said at the restaurant. And that gave them enough evidence, the restaurant video, to take Charles Adelson into custody and charge him with the murder of Dan Markel. That's why we're in this trial now. But they did play it at the Catherine Magbanoa trial, and then she was convicted. This was her second trial. One of the ones where she lied for the second time, but now she's telling the truth. Yeah, interesting. They also had Luis Rivera on the stand. Now, Luis Rivera, he was with Sigfredo Garcia on these trips. And they went up there in early June, but decided against committing the murder at that point. And they go back in July. And he was asked, how did you know that he was going to be leaving town the next day? Oh, Katie told us. She got on the phone and she told us. Yeah. So interesting. He says all we knew is that we were committing this murder. A woman hired us because she wanted to get her kids back. That's all he knew. Never saw Charles Adelson until the day of the trial. It's the first time I've ever seen him. I don't know him. Never heard of him. He didn't, because he was hired by Sigfredo, who was hired by Katie, who was hired by Charlie, who was hired by his mom. Interesting. All right, guys, that's the show for today. It's a little bit shorter than yesterday, but I got to give you guys time to catch up. I know. You guys have busy lives. So do I. So, and I will get you all caught up. By the time Saturday's over and done with, I'll have you all caught up with both trials, and we'll go from there. Have a great week. Oh, Thursday. It's Wednesday. Oh, have a great Wednesday. So tonight, it's Wednesday. I usually do Craft with Me Wednesday at 7 p.m. Well, instead of doing Craft with Me Wednesday tonight, we're going to kick off the paint along I'm doing with a woman named Joanna. She has a new YouTube channel called Color and Chat with Joanna. And I love this woman. Oh my God. She's so funny. Seriously funny. And we're about the same age. We got on the phone and just could not stop talking. Like she's a doll. So she's going to be in my live tonight. We're going to kick off the Yumi Arts paint along. Both of us will be painting this Yumi Arts. This is what I was kidding up in bed last night till midnight. Don't do that. It's not a good idea. So we're going to kick off this painting. Yeah, this is just one of the Yumi arts available. This is offered by Diamond Art Club. I don't usually promote that company, but I just loved this painting. So I'm not real particular about where I get the paintings. I have some favorite companies. This is not one of them, but it is what it is. I do like their, only because I don't like their business model. Their paintings are a dream, but their business model sucks. So anyway, there's another tick on my anti-Diamond Art Club. Oh gosh, I don't want to come across as advocating that you go purchase anything from them. If you want to watch us each week paint along with each other and get, I just want people in the community to get to know Joanna because she's a sweetheart. All right, and just try to get monetized. She's almost there. She's almost there. Maybe we can get her there. All right, guys, have a wonderful Thursday. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, it's only Wednesday. Have a wonderful Wednesday. If you're not there in the live tonight, I'll see you tomorrow.